Hello once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, denizens of the interwebs. I am kcStranger. These are my obstreperous players. Well, four of them, anyway. The fifth, hopefully, will make it soon. I haven't heard that he's not coming. Um, so, last time, I'm sorry. As always, the Crystal Tomb is brought to you by XSplit Broadcaster for all of your split broadcasting needs, as well as Tractor Blend, the source of awesomeness in the universe. Hopefully, he pays me extra for that one. He will pay me. So last
One
time,
day.
yeah, one day. So last time, the party sorted out their misunderstanding, question mark, with Hadron Pendulon, the high priest of Innis, whom Kruk had stunning striked. They talked it out, basically learned that they time shifted again. Nistia Cantaniel, the High Priestess, has been replaced with Hadron Pendulon, the High Priest. He indicated that he'd had some kind of similar discussion to them as Nistia had with them earlier. Yeah, Roll20 does that with the video. Had some sort of similar conversation with them, and although some of the details were notably different, Nistia had, for example, indicated that she had discovered that in an old timeline, nobody in the group was alive, and Pendulon did not say that. He just noted that he'd found some memory gaps among their acquaintances. At any rate, he had apparently, just like Nistia, set them on a mission to recover Cyphera, the magical looking glass that leads to some unknown location within Einongrun. And he, in fact, encouraged them that they may want to follow that. Innis had sort of led him to suggest that, and he thinks that there might be something useful there, although he's not quite sure actually where it leads. After that, the party just sort of settled down, had a few days of downtime. Colleen and Kane got into some mischief where I think Colleen was mostly just looking for mischief while trying to get Crook to trust her at the same time. And Kane wanted to steal things, but finally settled for drawing a dick on Crook's face while he was sleeping. Damn you, conscience.
Oh, hey, we can totally play it out with Radiclus.
Yeah. There he is. What? So, trying to remember what other stuff happened. I know that Maxis went out. Maxis and Crook both helped the soldiery clean up the town. Definitely ingratiated themselves to the soldiers by doing that. Maxis also learned at least the general outline of a rather interesting story concerning her mother. I mean, his mother. Essentially, that she had sort of held the gap, if you will, against a large number of Yeti on the tundra, while her husband, Maxis's father, fled. Perhaps, and that she later actually showed up barely alive with Maxis himself. But perhaps that plays somewhat into, backstory stuff that hasn't really come out related to Maxis. Let me see. I know Kane also went out, picked up a few minor magical items. Crook got a scroll, Thornwhip scroll. Is that a piano? Interesting. We are. You know what? I've been thinking about this more, and I think that given how I expect tonight to go, I think we'll have a little bit of time. I think this could be important for later character development. So we are going to cut to a scene that I skipped by last time. I need everybody to roll me a Constitution save. Colleen, you have advantage. Or just a Constitution check, I'm sorry, not a save, just a check. Friend grill. Okay. So these are all basically sleepiness checks. You are going to wake up in the order of your Constitution saves. So Maxis, you arise first in the morning. You and Crook have sort of made some plans to help out the soldiers on this day with, cleaning up the last pockets of resistance in the town. You get up. There's some sort of relatively basic but decent food set out, just like some biscuits, some sausages, water, that kind of thing. Some apples. You wander over and settle in to grab some breakfast when Crook wanders out with Kane. What color is the dick?
Probably.
Actually, you know what? Describe the dick. Where is it placed? How is it shaped? What color is it? Does it have any distinguishing features other than dickness?
Serious stream for serious.
Can we get a performance check to see how well it's?
I'm okay with that. Or actually, give me a check with your disguise kit.
I thought I did it last time.
You did, but I don't remember what you rolled, and also I think that was to see if you could successfully draw it while not waking him up. Okay, so it's a professional job. Not Kane's best work, but a professional job.
I'd say probably like... Wait, how would... I'd say probably like skin color, but like just like a few shades different from Crook's actual skin color.
Alright, Crook, remind me your skin tone.
Crook, he's, God, it's like dusty, almost. Like, not, necromantic, dead, dusty, but like...
Just like worn.
Riding.
So this is like, a few weeks at the beach, kind of, then like tan, kind of going.
Okay, alright.
Yeah.
Everyone's seen, American Vandal? On Netflix?
No, unfortunately.
Nope. Alright, the whole thing is kind of funny. Anyway, it's just the standard like dick drawing, like on like a school like a whiteboard.
Okay.
Gotta make sure
like
you
on
get
the
the
cheek
coming
or
off.
like where's it at?
Oh yeah, it's like on the cheek, like kind of angled down.
Okay, all right. So Maxis, Crook wanders in and sleepily reaches for some sausages and a biscuit, and you notice this dick on his right cheek.
Yeah, I'll just
With
go
the
ahead
hairs.
and make my charisma save.
That's in character, by the way.
What? Why are you so loud?
Just things. It's a good time. Don't worry, Clean will fix it later. It'll be fine. Continue eating.
What are you? I'm just like staring at the food. What's wrong with this?
Just put your right towards me. I can't handle the left right now.
What's wrong with it?
And oh damn it! Is the city still super jacked? We haven't left yet.
I mean, it's pretty jacked. Yeah, no, you haven't left yet.
Fuck. All right.
Is there a mirror around me? Or any? Well, actually,
you know
better
what?
question: Is there a bowl or pitcher of water that is large enough to look at a reflection?
Okay, that's a lot more probable. Let's see.
Perception check.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there is
Okay.
something that should serve the purpose on the table.
Okay.
It is.
I'm gonna look at that
Around
and try
this
to
moment,
see.
Kane wanders in.
It
I'm
is
gonna try
my
and see if I
tankard of
can-
ale that is
Yeah.
just jacked.
You see,
As
Crook,
I
you wander in as Crux has just like his eyes have just landed on this polished serving bowl that has a few apples left in it.
So as he does that, Kane like takes like a step in, notices that, and just like does a perfect like spin on his heel right back out the door.
Okay.
Perfect 180. Whoop, gone. Hopefully before Crook notices that he was ever there. And then I go hide.
You know, I'll base it on this. Give me a perception check, Kane.
I guess if I notice why he's looking at shiny things.
Okay, yeah, you wander in and pretty clearly realize what's going on. You just, like, you barely step foot in the room. Actually, let me see. Maxis, give me a perception check. Crook, perception with disadvantage to see if you notice Kane.
Great. We're starting off real good, guys.
Yeah. Crook, you're too distracted trying to figure out what's going on. And Maxis, you're still just staring at Crook. And
I was saying, my
sniffing.
eyes are super, like, teared up right now.
Is this a penis?
Fucking blur.
And as Crook, so Kane gets away. Crook, you take the apples out and stare at it for a moment, and with dawning realization, you utter those words exactly at the moment that Colleen and Fallon wander in. Colleen and Fallon, you enter the little, it's just sort of like a little room set off a hallway where there's a bunch of food. And the first words that you hear are Crook saying, "Is this a penis?"
I mean, usually they don't have to ask that, but, yeah, for sure it's a penis.
Shut up, you fool! Look at Colleen. Look at Fallon. Look back at Colleen. I'm gonna narrow my eyes. Where's the other one?
Hey man, you know it's me.
You know what? For the record, because you are jumping to a conclusion here, give me an investigation check.
It's probably not a very high DC, but you just bet me.
If he crit fails this, he won't realize it. Otherwise, he almost certainly will.
Crit fail.
No, 9 is enough to pin you for it.
Okay.
Oh man, it's everyone here. Disadvantage.
You know what? I'm just gonna lick it and try to wipe it off. Lick the hand, wipe it off.
Ah man, this is like this stuff like the mascara that's like no streaking.
Yeah. No, everybody else, you notice it smudge ever so slightly as he like lets his hand and tries to wipe at it, but you guys imagine that like there's probably a specialized method for taking this off. Like disguise makeup wouldn't be too useful if it just wiped off at whatever.
I see you've become acquainted with Kane.
She says even though she was there when this is happening.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw lots of rocks at him.
I mean, honestly, it's a pretty easy fix. Colleen, couldn't you just do your transpose it from him onto something else thing like you did last time?
This has happened a lot, has it?
That's not exactly how that worked.
I'm not there, but last time all she did was make what looked like it appeared on my face, just with magic. She didn't transpose it. She just made it do one.
I mean, but from Max's perspective, that might be what she did.
I just say she took it off of someone with magic, and then it appeared on your face also with magic.
Yeah.
She just uses witchcraft to move art around.
Wait, did she actually move the art? She just made it look like invisible.
We have had a long talk that she is not to steal my tattoos.
Ooh. Ooh.
Well, I'll make an adjudication on that if it comes up.
Fallon says, I guess this is Kane's way of initiating you into the group.
I mean, he put snow in my sleeping bag while we were in the tundra, so it could be worse, probably.
Was that yours or mine?
I think it was both of ours.
Why is there a stealth roll?
Because I'm hiding.
I mean, I presume you GTFO'd. Anyways, unless anyone has something in particular that we didn't get to, I think that pretty much sets the table nicely for the future.
Yeah, that's it.
So with that, we are going to jump over to Fallon, who we didn't get to last time. So Fallon, you've got a few days in the city. Is there anything you'd like to do with those few days?
So remind me of where Anya went. She left, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. So I believe that Anya took what's her face? There was that elven lady that you guys captured at the cultist place. Who?
Let me just sketchily take her like away.
Yeah.
It was,
Okay.
Quinaria Milan Kier. So she went back to what's it called, Tindas.
Oh,
with
that's
her.
right. That was what's her name's buddy, family member. Okay. Well, I want to do some gnome salts, but also, is there any point to me going and visiting my uncle or grandmother?
I mean, there might be.
Okay. Well then.
You have seen Arden. You've only interacted with him in a group setting. You haven't seen your grandmother. Whose name?
All right. Well, I guess I'll go visit them and do some gnome salts. Is kind of my goal.
Okay.
Like with them or like
No, separately. Like I'll go see them during the day and then gnome salts in the evening. Kane.
Also,
you need a timetable.
Also, you don't have to pipe until like day 3, I think. So.
So let me see. I imagine that. Let me see. Gnome salts is probably gonna be like maybe the second evening, so we'll do that there. Let's start perhaps. Well, actually, I guess tell me the order. What order do you want to do this in?
I'll go see Arden. I guess how many? I have 2 days. I'll go see Well, I'll just do this. I'll go see Arden one day, and then read my bestiary book that evening, and then go see Grandmama the second day,
Right.
and then do gnome salts that evening.
Okay. All of this sounds good. So yeah. So day 1, it makes sense you'd start by trying to find Arden. Things are a little hot still, and it actually occurs to you you're not necessarily sure whether Muriel, whose name I now remember, is actually going to be by her residence or somewhere else, and you could perhaps ask Arden that. So go ahead, and Arden is going to be occupied doing commandy things, so give me investigation to see how fast you track him down. Okay. You ask about. Nobody in your immediate vicinity knows where he is. You go to his office. You come up empty. You sort of mention that you were there looking for him, and just shrug and head back in the meantime. Go ahead and give me. Let me see. So I'm remembering how I did your book. I think I told you like something out of something, like you were working
out of 10.
Okay, yeah, 2
I'm
out
at
of 10.
a 2 out of 10
Okay.
currently.
All right, so while you're waiting to meet up with Arden, you can give me 3 nature checks.
Yes. Boop.
Okay.
Boop. Boop.
Okay. You are now at 4 out of 10.
He does on his way.
So you get 2 more on that.
Yeah.
Finally, towards later in the evening, one of the soldiers swings by and says that your uncle's back, and you can just head to his office and you'll find him. So you wander over that direction. You go upstairs just like the first time that you met up with him. Is that your background noise, Kane?
I guess I don't hear anything except for it's actually here. So
Oh, all right.
Probably.
All right. Anyways.
There's a door closing.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So yeah, you wander upstairs and you find him sort of leaning back wearily by the. Let me think. By the small table that you talked to him at before. He's got a book open on the desk and about a 1/3 bottle of what appears to be whiskey or something along those lines on the table.
Yeah, I guess I just wanted to kind of, because whenever we met in a group setting, we tried to tell him what happened and he wasn't really hearing it. So I just want to reiterate the events.
Oh, okay. So you wander in. You tell him hello. He sort of nods slightly wearily and says, "Good to see you. It was a little bit chaotic earlier, obviously." He holds out the bottle sort of questioningly.
I take it from him.
All right. You give yourself a pour, and do you hold anything back from him?
No. Well, I don't tell him about the demon.
Which
or
demon?
the devil. The devil.
Oh, okay.
Imra.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So you wander through the events. When you get to what happened with Corin, he says, "Right, somehow it slipped my mind in the hubbub to ask about that, but..." He shrugs. Makes sense. Do you have any idea what lies behind the strange behavior when your wizard did her work?
Is he referring to Colleen?
Yeah, so he's referring to the part where
When Colleen tried to resurrect
animate
him.
at him, and he went all spooky.
Just say, no, we thought he was on our side, and then it seems like maybe he was serving this nothing, people of the nothing.
Right. He leans back. I still don't obviously understand that part. It lies rather outside my specialty, if you will. And he stops and thinks for a moment. Have you... So apparently in whatever time you crossed over from, I think I'm saying that correctly, Priest Pendulon didn't exist? Or at least wasn't the High Priest?
Right, it was a elf lady named Nistia.
Thanks.
But apparently they think he knows, basically.
Right. He sighs again. I'm no expert on this, Fallon, but what you're saying doesn't sound positive, to say the least. Have you been able to identify what's causing these jumps?
We've been trying.
I think it has something to do with the people, or the nothing, or something of that effect. I don't really know, because I don't.
He says, obviously I don't know either, but is there any thread, perhaps, and he furrows his brow a little bit, in what happened immediately before the shift happened?
All I know is the Dark Corin showed up again and offered to reverse a spell that the demon was casting on some humans onto herself. And then the next thing I know, we're kind of things spin and she's dead on the floor. That's all I can link it to.
Alright, he stops and thinks for a moment. Let's see exactly how insightful he is. Okay.
He's like, y'all haven't figured it out yet. Why?
He sort of stares into the little bit of whiskey remaining in his glass, frowns, shakes his head, throws it back, and then sort of pushes it away from him a bit and says, and actually let me check one more thing. How is he on this? Okay, interesting. He says, I'm no expert in whatever you seem to be mixed up in, Fallon, but I have heard some stories involving, demons, hags, any number of evil creatures, not exactly like what you're discussing. But I do know that many times their power over mortals relies on some sort of bargain or acceptance. Now, I don't know if any such thing was done here, but perhaps I would be wary of accepting anything from suspicious places.
Which time?
I think, Casey, are you basically telling me that I shouldn't have traded recipes with Imra for his assistance in the house maze?
Am I telling you that?
That's exactly what it sounds like.
I mean, I don't know. Has Imra ever steered you wrong?
Well, Blinn Ploop didn't really steer me wrong either. If I'm being honest.
That's fair. The one thing I will remind you is that Innis herself did mention that she had basically the equivalent of called in a favor with Imra.
Yeah, I know, and that's what sounds funny. That's why I didn't ever think of that, but kind of what you're telling me, or made me think that.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say, yeah, no more strangers from evil, dark people.
Yeah.
Up to nothing.
He shrugs and says, honestly, I don't know. Have you heard anything about the King's advisor, Lucas Swallowtail?
I don't think I have.
He shakes his head and says, I don't know the details, but, well, if you go around the castle again, you're unlikely to run into him. He appears to have been mixed up in something dark, and let's say he implicated your companion Corin in it. So, he says, again, I don't know the details, but sounds like something was going on.
What was it, Luke? What was the Swallowtail? What was the name?
Lucas Swallowtail.
Lucas. Legolas Swallowtail. Got it.
They're taking the hobbits to Isengard.
Does Lucas have a father?
I mean, probably.
That has a very
He has a daddy.
Why does that name sound familiar?
I mean, you did meet him before, but maybe you're drawing a connection to something else. Anyways, so
I don't recall.
You continue into your story. You see eyebrows raised when you toss out the detail about finding the giant whiskey barrel. It just occurs to you to mention that, let's say. I think I said giant barrel of scotch. Let me think. You finally finish your tale, and he says, well, Fallon, I think you managed to have me beat on leading an interesting life.
That was just like a day or two.
He says, I know. Well, I find that most of the excitement in life tends to be compressed into a rather short time span, separated by months of forgettableness.
Excuse me.
Fallon says, "Yeah, I long for forgetfulness."
Don't we all? Unfortunately, tomorrow is another day of work, and well, I'm probably only going to take about 5 hours to get my wits back about me before I get back to it.
I tell him I'll probably be off on another adventure soon, so bid him farewell.
Were you planning to ask about your grandma?
Yes. Where is Muriel still at her estate?
He says, "Oh, I haven't told you. Well, a rather large rock got thrown through half of it, from what I understand. We're cleaning up the area, but I called in a favor and got her into the castle before things went south."
I guess I'll ask him for dirt, which part where I can find her.
He says,
Be on my way.
He says, "I think they put her up in the East Wing."
Rightio.
All right.
And then, I mean, I don't really have much else to.
Yep.
Unless there's something else I'm not aware of, but I think that's
Nope.
gonna.
Okay,
Rescue
sounds
my
good.
Scott while you're
So
there.
between tonight and the other few days that you actually have plenty of time to work your way through your bestiary. So let me see. Give me, you know what? Give me 8 nature checks.
Working on that.
All the nature.
All the nature.
Oh.
All right.
Let's go.
Princess here.
Okay, so
here.
let me see. That'll be 1, 2, 3.
I will be right back.
2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yeah, you get another 6 successes, which I think puts you at exactly 10.
Hold on. Where did my? Oh, that's good mark. Sorry. Yes, that's 10.
Okay. You now have nature proficiency. Let me see here. This
Hey, I
is
have that.
this is a skill that needs to be kept up a bit. So I would advise at least until this is set in, that you not ditch the book. You don't quite feel confident to, like resell it at this point, but you can probably throw it in the bag of holding or whatever without any difficulty if you don't want to carry it or something.
Force it into my quiver.
Yeah.
How big is it?
How
I've got
big is it?
I was just joking because I have a magical bag of quiver holding.
Oh, right. Lol. I forgot about that. Okay. Actually,
You dry it out,
yeah, no, it's
it'll
not too
shrink.
big. Well, you might be able to fit it
Gotta
into
cut
the
the
pouch,
cover
actually.
off.
I think I said that could hold 30 pounds of stuff. So, okay. So cool. So you finished that over those few days. On the last day, things have sort of cleared up enough that you can easily make the trip to the capital. So you go and you ask around, and you are directed back to the room where your grandmother is. You walk back and find her actually not in her room. She's in basically kind of like a lounge that has a window that looks out on the city. She's got a book sitting on a stand beside her, and she's drinking what appears to be a glass of some sort of dark ale.
And I say, is it, what time of day is it?
You probably went up. I mean, would you have gone like late morning?
Sure, okay.
Yeah, she's totally day drinking.
It is 10 o'clock.
Yeah. Fuck it. She's old. She does what she wants.
And I say, good morning, Muriel.
Good morning, Foul. I lost my voice. Let me think about this. Yeah. Good morning, Fowden. No, I'm doing Golem or something. Really bad. I don't know.
That would make it fun.
Good morning, Fowden.
You catch a cold.
Yeah, exactly. I'll need to practice in front of the mirror next time that I think you're going to meet Muriel. In the meantime, I'll just muddle my way through it. Good morning, Fowlin. Sit down. Do you want a glass of this? The king's stuff is great.
Yes, please.
Porter? Servant? Somebody? Get a glass for my grandson. Yeah, thanks.
Chop, chop.
You hear scurrying feet and says, "So, finally decided to come visit your old grandma."
I just got back on from a wicked adventure.
Oh, well, do I get the story?
Yes, and I tell her it's the story.
Okay. She listens to it all the way through, interrupting occasionally to make wisecracks.
Perfect.
Yeah. And you get to the end, and she says, "Well, so you say one of your group died then? Shame I wasn't there." I mean, she stops and thinks for a moment. What I'm saying is I totally would have carried your group.
What of what?
She's saying she would have hard carried you.
Oh, okay.
Anyways.
And we're talking about Corin that died, correct?
Yeah.
I mean,
Anyways.
I don't know if he's really dead.
Right.
Or just...
You only die twice, all that. She leans back and thinks for a moment. So did you hear about what they did to my house?
Yeah, shame about that.
Right. It's gonna cut into the fund a bit to repair the place, but what can I say? I've got a soft spot for it. I almost didn't let Arden move me here, but
Probably got a bit drafty.
I imagine it is. I wasn't there, however. Although she thinks for a moment, I do hope that insert name of halfling groundskeeper, whose name I forget, is okay, though.
Argus.
Oh. And I raise my glass to the halfling groundskeeper.
I totally forgot his name. She says, "So, do you know what you're doing next?"
Oh, could be a number of things. Probably off again for a while.
You do seem like the unsettled sort. Take after your father that way, honestly.
I really feel just kind of like being whipped around by the wind here.
She says,
the whims of gods and kings.
She says, "Well, some people don't. Most people have different problems. Most people either have all their choices handed to them, or else they've got all the choices and they don't know what to do with it. At the end of the day, sounds like a pain, sounds like a chore, but, well, at least you're being given something pretty obvious to set yourself to."
Yeah, it keeps things interesting.
Right. Well, at any rate, I'm certainly looking forward to getting back to rebuilding the place, and well, she softens for a moment. As long as I'm here, you'll always have a place.
I tell her that I hope to bring Anya back
Oh.
the next time I visit.
Twinkle returns to her eye. Yes, please do. Where'd she get off to anyway?
Oh, she escorted a prisoner, I think, to another city. I can't really remember what that circumstance was.
Tindos.
So, it was a prisoner type situation, I think.
Yeah, basically. And she says, "Oh, a prisoner, you say? Well,
I say, you know, she was raised by Dragonborn.
Actually, I forget if she ever learned Anya's last name. That would be a dead giveaway, but I don't think she did. She says, "Oh, really? So, not quite as interesting as your upbringing."
just slightly different, really.
She says, "Well, at any rate, so long as she's on that duty, unless it's a particularly interesting prisoner. Sounds like you don't have too much competition there." She winks.
No. I hope not.
She says, "All right, well, just understand that that's your main mission, right? This other stuff is side quests. Don't get distracted."
I'm on it.
Brilliant. And she drains the last of her beer and sets down the mug with a thunk.
Can we both smash our mugs on the ground when we're done?
Do you look at her with a question in your eyes?
Of course I do.
Give me a persuasion check with advantage.
My grandma. My grandmama.
She fails to take the hint. You think she took the hint, but she actually didn't. So she just like thunks hers back on the table as you like send yours plummeting down towards the ground, where it actually does shatter. There's a moment of stunned silence where the porter outside the room steps in and asks if everything is okay. And then she shrugs and throws hers over her right shoulder. And it shatters on the ground behind her. And she looks up at the porter and says, "Oops." And unless you have anything further, we'll zoom out on that.
No, I'll walk out of the room. I'll give my goodbye, walk out of the room, and flip a gold to the porter.
Okay, brilliant.
I deducted a gold.
I love that grandma scene so much.
All right. Okay, final thing is gnome salt. So this is one of the evenings. Go ahead and roll a d20.
For all the marbles. Here we go. Damn it.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Why can't I... Would you take the roll modifiers off, please?
So you step outside your little apartment area, find sort of a quiet corner where where there's not a lot of foot traffic, but you still have good visibility around you. Just basically a place where you're very unlikely to be disturbed. You just sort of have a view of the camp around Spear Point. Lol. You light up the gnome salts and lean back, and the ground glows with a golden yellow, and the sky turns sort of a violet hue. You watch as about probably 30 feet from you, a few pedestrians walk by, the tentacles from their heads twitching slightly. That's when you realize that's kind of odd. You would expect like normal hair, right? And you start to get a vaguely unsettled feeling in your stomach. From the other side of the street, you see a figure walk by, dressed in full plate armor. you notice the symbol of Carulo on his shield. And then you mentally size up the build and you realize, wait, that's Johann. He walks towards you. You like make to wave or say hello or something, but then somewhere deep inside of you, you realize that this is part of your trip, and you just sort of settle back and let it happen. He walks up towards you, sits down just a few feet away from you, and takes off his helmet. Sort of looks at you with a small frown on his face. And an odd moment passes. Out of the corner of your eye, on sort of a nearby, so think of like a cart that people would sell things out of, how it has kind of like a wooden ledge on it. On the wooden ledge, you notice a pineapple. And then when you glance back, you notice Johann walking away from you. His arm around the shoulder of a woman with sort of light brown hair, average build. No one you recognize, at least from the back. And he walks away and finally fades into the distance. The golden glow on the ground has continued, and gradually it amplifies before finally turning it starts to turn sort of an orange and then finally a greenish hue. And as the color changes, you start to calm a bit and relax into the normal feeling of sort of peacefulness that always comes towards the end of your trips. And that's it.
Cool.
All right.
Oh my god.
So, a few days have passed. This is now the morning of the 4th day since you made it back to Citadel. You're all sort of gathered at the front of the building that you've been lodging in. You've packed up your things. It's sort of been... you've been informed that the city's safe and that you'll be taken back to the castle soon in order to be given your payment. Well, not Crook's payment, but, you know, he's sort of vaguely attached to your group at this point. So he comes along too. You're met by basically a messenger who's escorted by a small group of soldiers, and you all go up to the capital together. When you arrive there, you're taken sort of into the receiving hall, where you first met King Steeltree. The king is not there. You are instead, if I can find my notes that I pulled up related to this, because I need to remember this guy's name. I literally opened this before the session with this in mind, but now I'm having trouble finding it. Dear God. Just a sec. I think this is it. Okay, there we go. You are met instead by Leo Dawngazer. He's a half-elf with sort of copper skin, appears to be young for an elf, approaching middle age for him. He's got some small signs of age, but still very much young. Let me see here. And he's dressed differently than you were used to. His dress was never ostentatious, but he was dressed sort of in a bit of a brighter color before, like in purple. Now he's dressed in a green robe that very much matches the decor of the castle. And you all gather around, and he says, and actually he sort of seems to stare past you as you walk approach, but I mean as you walk up to him, but finally as you reach the front, his eyes come down and settle on you all. And he says, welcome back. I'm given to understand that you fully executed the errand on which you were sent. Your pay has been tallied. Your companion, Aaronin, has been... we've made arrangements for his share. And now I will go through the rest with all of you. So, to run down what you are to be given, for fulfillment of both of your primary objectives, there is a reward of 400 gold per objective. For your hazard pay, there's an additional 250 gold per person. For enemies defeated, 113 gold. For the individuals you rescued, 120 gold. For the bonus intelligence that you provided, an additional 2 gold. For avoiding collateral damage, 25 gold. For the cost of your coats, 8 gold will be deducted. They will be provided at a discount, but nonetheless, there's some need to balance the books.
As he says coats, I look at Max's, I'm just like, we got our jackets.
I pat him on the head. Good job.
For the speed with which these services were rendered, we will adjust this upwards by 7%. And that brings the total to, and let me write it all out, rounded to the nearest silver, to 2,380 gold, 8 silver, payable in a manner of your choosing. He sweeps his eyes across all of you and says, would you like that divided 4 ways or 5?
Four.
He says,
Whoever's... If I'm standing near Crook, I kind of step in front of him like he's not there.
Crook has no interest right now. He's looking at his hands.
Okay.
Holding a rock.
So you all can add, assuming that you want it in the lightest manner possible.
It would be nice.
You all can add that much.
I'm put it in the bag of holding.
So you each get that much. You can do what you want with it, but that's how much you get. 59 plat, 5 gold, 2 silver. And Leo says, now about the matter of the coats. We were given some rather specific directions regarding those.
Oh, you're being good?
So the specifications that were delivered are not anything that we have on hand, and especially considering the state of infrastructure in the city, they will take some days to produce. We are willing to do so. However, we will need to either ask you to return within 2 weeks' time, perhaps, or to arrange some sort of pickup. Alternatively, we can offer the nearest thing that we have to hand.
What did I say for our coats? I remember vaguely describing a full Metal Alchemist coat except for black.
Kane's coat was a horrendous orange and
his I
blue,
remember
Orange and pink.
vividly.
Orange and pink.
Are you guys talking in character?
No.
No.
Dang it.
I'm sure you would like that, though.
Orange
maybe.
It was orange and pink with brown.
Well, Fallon just says, I say we wait. I want quality workmanship we demanded.
We're on full Metal Alchemist jackets. That's supposed to be black, except mine. We're apparently orange and pink.
Yeah. It's the captain's coat.
Shit.
You get the captain's coat.
Shh.
Team captain.
You'll have to convince Kane of this.
Team mascot.
Oh,
May
I'm
not
not.
be that
It has a big
difficult.
C on the back of it. What the C stands for, you decide.
He says, "Very well. I'm to understand that you would like us to deliver on the specifics then?"
Yes.
Yeah, whatever. I'm sure whatever Max has put, whatever the rest of the put down for the describing for the jackets will be worth the wait.
Okay. He says, "Very well then. If you, as I said, the coats will require a few weeks. I would say check back in 2 weeks. We will hold them here for as long as necessary until you return, or if you have some means of contacting us, we can arrange delivery to a location of your choosing. Although," he looks around at you, "I'm given to understand that your location in 2 weeks might be an uncertain affair."
Most definitely. I'll pipe up behind Fallon.
So
We'll work it out. We'll let you know.
you say you
Twice.
can't hold on to it.
No, we most certainly can.
Oh,
We can work out some deal.
we can figure something out. We may end up sending someone to grab it for us.
Very well.
Usually,
Well, if...
we'll let you know what we decide.
Excellent. He looks up
Yes.
and says, "Well, in that case, I believe our business is concluded. Allow me, on behalf of the king, to give you our sincere thanks for your efforts in aid of both the city and our country. And I can only think that should you return, you will most certainly be welcomed."
Before you go, where
Yes?
exactly does the king get his ale from? Also, I need to withdraw? Should I withdraw my barrel? Yes, we're gonna withdraw the barrel of scotch. I believe they gave me a ticket. No, they didn't. They didn't give me a ticket. I just had a barrel of scotch hanging out somewhere.
Yes, I think I know whereof you speak. And I'm actually realizing that I forgot something here. Well, actually, I'll get to that in a moment. He says, yes, and he calls back, and an attendant comes into the room, and he says, "Can you please show these, this lady and these gentlemen to Princess Moira?" And he says, "Yes, sir." And he looks at you, Maxis, and says, "So before you go, is there anything else I can do for you?"
I think that's all we need.
Excellent. So the attendant leads you out. At this point, I'm realizing I forgot something that I meant to do earlier. So we are going to skip back in time to the previous night, before this happened. Maxis,
So.
you are... Actually, wait a minute. I'm realizing... I'm really annoyed that my music keeps stopping. Why am I paying for premium if my music is not stopping? Maxis, you are heading towards bed. You lean down on the bed. I imagine you like take off your shirt or whatever.
You think you were sure?
I usually wear shirts. I don't know, that one was getting pretty tore up. I probably threw that one away.
Fair. Oh, actually, that reminds me. Never mind. I won't do that. And you're just about to sort of swing over and go to sleep when you look up and realize that there is someone else in the room with you. A creature with which you are not previously familiar. She appears to be quarter dragon, a quarter devil, and half very attractive woman. Diminutive horns curl from her head, and her hands are bent into claws. She leans against the wall nearby with an extremely confident, almost predatory posture. Her hair billows like flame, and as you watch, her eyes glide through all the colors of the rainbow. And she looks at you, gives sort of a wry smile, and says, "Hey there, hot stuff. Name's Kalea. Pleasure to meet you."
Hello.
She smiles and says, of course, this will appear rather odd to you." She points towards your hand and says, "That ring that Ernan gave you." She shrugs. "I've been in his head. Now I'm in yours." She looks you up and down and says, "Mostly an upgrade, I think."
Oh shit, I thought this was just Colleen using seeming again. So, well, I guess that changes things. Why are you in my head? And also in the ring?
She says, "Long story short, I've got a rather specific purpose in existence. I'm given to understand that your party has been tasked with collecting the 5 dragon spirits. Yes?"
Have we?
She
Like to everyone else at the I thought we
Yeah.
were doing the vestiges and the 3 stones. I didn't remember anything about dragon spirits.
Yeah, and the dragons.
Dragon spirits.
she smirks
go-
and says,
Go find all the shit. All right.
She smirks
Yep.
and says, "Your party has been doing a rather poor job of that last one."
DM doing shade.
However, and at this point, she does like a spot-on impression. It's actually kind of scary. A spot-on impression of Fallon's voice from some undetermined point in the future. I mean, in the past, I'm sorry. When he actually told you that they had been tasked with finding the 7 vestiges, the 5 dragon spirits, and the 3 creation stones. And she says, "Ring any bells?"
I wouldn't.
I mean, every time I say no to that question, people keep disappointing or getting disappointed. So vaguely, yes, I do recall at the lighthouse something like that being said.
She shrugs and says, "Don't worry about it too much. There are a few other members of your party who've had more positive reinforcement on this front than you have. That being said, I obviously have a vested interest in this, and I've been listening. And the goddess did in fact task your group with collecting those things, and even showed the rest of your group a rather specific place to bring them to. At any rate, I can tell that through no fault of your own, I'll have to start from the beginning. So yes, in addition to the creation stones and the vestiges, on which you've been doing a rather good job, there is the matter of collecting the dragon spirits. Unfortunately, the individual I was working with previously didn't seem too interested. But," she smiles at you, "perhaps our relationship will prove a bit more productive. At any rate, to walk through the basics," and she sort of like rolls her eyes slightly and gives a small waving motion with her hand as if she realizes she's being a bit long-winded. You might be wondering how exactly you collect a spirit. And she says, That's where I come in. All that you need to do is find the individual and, shall we say, ask me to begin the process. And, well, we'll figure it out together. That being said, it does work better if the individual that you find is, well, shall we say, willing to have the spirit extracted. It also helps if you have a relationship with them. I mean, by which I mean if you know them.
Not full-blown relations.
I mean, Ernan did, and that would help.
You're gonna have to fuck Halil. The only way.
That's the only way.
I hope you don't mind greasiness.
So that's the short of it. Any questions?
What happens to the people when you rip this dragon spirit from them?
It'll be a jarring sensation, but honestly, I'm more concerned for the person doing the extraction.
They wither and die in a husk.
A shiny, oily husk.
Okay. Why? Do you know why we need all of these dragon spirits?
She stops and thinks for a moment and
Because the
says,
dragon told us to.
I can give you two answers to that question. One is because it seems like the goddess has asked you to. And the second, from my perspective, she pauses and says, what do you think a bear would say if you asked it why it hibernates? Or what a salmon might say if you asked it why it swam upstream?
I mean, I'm not a druid, so I wouldn't be able to do that. But I don't know. That it's just the natural state of things, I suppose.
She shrugs and says, basically, same deal with me. That's kind of my game. It's what I'm made for, if you will. The fact that I'm even awake implies that the spirit should be gathered at this point.
I mean, from your perspective, then that's 100% yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they should, I guess. I don't... This is really late for a lot of philosophical discussion and bullshit.
Philosophical.
She's hot. She has rainbow hair.
But I'm not, I suppose, opposed to this or anything like that. Are you just always hanging out in the ring?
She says, her eyes smolder a bit, and she grins at you slyly and says, yup.
Kinky. Alright. Well, okay. What happens if we take the ring off? Do you still the same thing?
She shrugs and says, I mean, honestly, and her eyes go mischievously towards the ceiling. Good luck getting it off at this point.
Right.
But she looks towards you and says, but hey, the last one proved not very useful, so we can always make exceptions if it comes to that.
I mean, I was more just curious if you could be taken off and used, like, as a spy or something like that to report back. But if that's not possible because you're now stuck to my hand, then so be it.
Right, she says, unfortunately, a bit of a one-trick pony over here, and also unfortunately, you don't seem, she looks you up and down, compatible in the same way the last one was. But, she says, if there's anything I can do to help, I certainly will.
Sweet. Say, my eyes go a little funny when I'm like, wait, Aaron was compatible? What the hell does she mean by that?
Well, you know, you can keep the question to yourself, or you can ask her. She says, right, well, so since I've been involved in this, I've noticed that Princess Moira seems to have one of the spirits in her. So she says, I am not going to force you to do anything, but I'd certainly advise getting on that at some point. Aaron certainly did, except in all the ways that matter. And I think your party might have leads on a few more.
Okay. Well, I suppose that's one more thing to add to the old to-do list.
Indeed.
What? Do you know what happens when we get all of them?
She stops and thinks for a moment and says, well,
I mean, if your entire point of being is finding these 5 souls, or spirits rather,
right,
then your entire point of existing is done when we find the 5 spirits. Doesn't that kind of absolutely terrify you or something? You know, seems to be a bit of existential crisis that should be thought about and listed a little bit here.
She stops and thinks for a moment and says, honestly, I'm not concerned about what comes after. It'll be what it'll be. That being said, to your first question, the dragons were created very near the beginning of the world by Miros, Innis, and Carullo to maintain balance. The good and the evil gods were caught in a struggle at that time, a struggle which threatened to be extremely destructive. And the creation of the dragons, as I said, helped bring closure and order to that struggle. So, do I know exactly what will happen? No, but the ancestral spirits contain the essence of that power that was imbued into them, and especially with what I've gathered concerning the weakening and then disappearance of Innis, well, she stops and thinks for a moment. The creation stones would carry the power of the good gods, the dragon spirits would contain the power of the neutral, and the vestiges would contain the power of the evil gods. So, sounds like Innis just gave you a laundry list of the essential power of existence itself. As to what she intended for you to do with that, I couldn't say.
Don't tell Kane any of that.
Alright.
How existence.
Well, I guess that's some good info for me to mull over tonight. I'll keep it in mind going forwards.
Night night.
Sounds good. Thanks, dear. And she gives you a wink and sort of blows you a kiss with a bit of a smirk as she vanishes into a cloud of smoke. Alright, and with that, we are going to return to the castle where this porter takes you. Actually, let me think here. He is going to take you out into the garden where Moira and her younger brother, Tad, are sitting. As you approach, they have their backs to you. Or actually, let me think. No, so they're sort of looking to the side from the angle that you're approaching. Sort of sitting in this area, like, by a fountain that has some, like, large shrubbery built up around it. When you're still some distance away, you see Moira's head sort of tilted back, drinking something. And then you see her body language. Actually, yeah. You see her sort of stop, take notice of you. She sets something down. And as you approach closer, she and Tad sort of gather themselves. And Moira...
What'd she sit down?
You got a pretty good idea as you come close. You're not quite sure, but they're rather small glasses, and there's a rather large barrel on the other side of the bench.
Get ready for lunch, ring.
As you approach, Moira says, welcome back. First of all, thank you for attending to Priest Pendulon. I heard back about that and very much appreciate it. How are you all doing? And Tad is just smirking, sitting next to her. He has sort of a disheveled look about him. Like, he's dressed in very nice clothes. But like his hair
Which
is
he's
kind of
smirking about.
his hair is kind of mussed. His clothes are kind of dirty. He's got sort of thin, sandy brown hair. And he's
What's
just
he smirking about?
smiling watching this. But yeah, so Moira says, how are you doing?
Wait, who's she talking to?
Just your group.
Oh, we're all there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's he smirking about, Casey?
I think they're drinking a scotch.
Those bastards. So, obviously this is my scotch, because they're scumbags. That's been apparent since day one. Alright, do I probably keep some kind of drinking utensil with me?
Yeah, probably.
You
I'm
don't just go
gonna
and snatch up the barrel.
No, I'm just gonna dip a whole cup of this whiskey out, and we're gonna start drinking for a bit.
Okay. It's been properly tapped. You pour it out and have yourself a little shoddy shot. It's fantastic. Like,
I hate
Like-
them all so much right now.
dear God, where did the mayor get this shit? In fairness, you don't have to tip it back very far. At most, they've taken a couple shots worth.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's not.
He moves to take some.
It's the principle that matters. So, what are you three doing out here, and why does Tad look like he just got in a fight and lost horribly?
Moira sort of grimaces. We were enjoying the afternoon, and Tad always looks like that. And then he pipes up, I always look like this. Except on special
Why?
occasions.
I just kind
You're-
of assumed that you guys had been hanging out for a while.
Oh! And Tad, like, pantomimes pulling out, like, a watch on a chain, but there's nothing there. He says, probably only about 20 minutes. My sister can't stand me all that much longer. And she sort of elbows him.
So,
I don't know.
what
You're
are we
not.
doing here?
Oh man, I was chiming in a bit, but no one was responding to my chimes.
Oh, yeah. Tad says, oh, just enjoying the afternoon. I imagine you all came by for this. And he pats the barrel lightly.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. And then
Didn't take y'all for thieves.
he reaches inside his coat and pulls out a like a reasonably sized black pearl, and sort of like you would flip a coin, sort of holds it out towards you. Max's pauses slightly and then flicks it up towards you.
I snatch it out of the air. It looks cool.
Alright, Maxis, give me give me sleight of hand with advantage. Kane, just give me, let me think. Give me acrobatics and sleight of hand. Because you have to get there first before you can compete over it. Okay, that's good enough. Give me a sleight of hand.
Oh my god.
Alright, you dart in, but it was flicked directly towards Maxis, and he deftly snatches it out of the air.
I rolled a 4. What is this? Shit. A fucking 4? Really?
Do I know what this bead is?
I'll just tell you for just to keep it simple. It is a black pearl worth 500 GP, weighing 0.05.
What's this for?
He shrugs and says, I think that should more than cover what my sister and I took.
He can't drink that.
I mean, yeah, probably. I don't know.
He says,
how much does an actual bottle of this actually go for? I don't remember what it was called.
He looks at it and says, well, you've got what? Probably, let me think. What would you actually have there? You've got probably 50 liters of it here. Call it 20 gold a liter. So probably about 1,000 gold worth.
Did you say 0.04?
0.05.
0.05.
Or actually, that might be a little bit high. Call it 15 gold a liter, so probably about 750 gold in this here barrel. Minus what we took.
Interesting.
He stops and thinks for a moment. I never do math. I grossly overcompensated you there. But you know what? Friends of the crown, right?
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
Fantastic.
Okay, so this has got like an actual like a cap on it to where we can actually move it, and it's not just a slosh everywhere. I'm assuming.
Yeah, they tapped it in a reasonable manner so that you can cover it back up. Let me think. It is now. I'm just gonna represent this. So also somebody's was having some feedback. It might be better now, but so
Is it me?
yeah, it definitely is.
Alright.
Alright, so the barrel of scotch is back in the bag of holding, assuming that's what you're doing with it.
I mean, I can just like carry it on my shoulder for now.
Okay. Trying to remember. How much did I say it weighed?
I think it was like 150.
Yeah.
But like,
I think it was. That's true.
My strength is large, and I also get ×2 for carrying weight because I'm a Goliath.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Even though that doesn't get represented in Roll20 because it can't do that.
Okay, so the weight is now 149.8. A little bit's been taken. But you know what? Let me just round it off, 149.5. That being said, you can totally carry it.
Okay.
That being said, I'm pretty sure that makes you encumbered.
Oh,
so
yeah,
you'll have to figure out something to do with it at some point.
Well, I'm assuming we're going somewhere to plan after this, so...
Yeah, probably. Okay, let me just check real quick. So... Right, okay. Cool. Okay, so, yeah, so that's been given back to you. We're all here.
So yeah, we're gonna head out. Where
Okay.
were we actually staying?
You were
Okay,
just
the
staying
train
in
stopped.
Spear Point. Now you can stay wherever you want, basically. So, yeah, are you guys leaving the castle at this point? Are you looking to get anything else out of being here?
Yeah, I would kind of like to have some talks that shouldn't probably be held in a castle or the military district. So,
Sure.
Those sound like Kane's kind of talks.
we should.
All right. I mean, do you all want to like find like a tavern or an empty street or an inn or like where do you guys want to go?
A sketchy alleyway.
No, let's just go to a fucking tavern where we can sit down.
A tavern.
Yeah,
That's also good.
Okay. You all head out. Lots of the taverns are still closed, but things have been cleaned up, and so there are a few eager entrepreneurs who have gone ahead and set up shop already. Let me see. Some member of the party volunteer to be the leader and give me either investigation or perception, your choice.
I'll do it. Nailed it. Follow me, guys. I know the best places.
Oh, Kane, I just saw your message. Just ask me in like in Discord, and I'll give you that information after the session. Sound good?
Sweet. Yeah, it's fine.
All right, cool.
But to doing too great for Kane.
Yep. Okay, so Kane finds a decent tavern. That said, the prices are slightly inflated. So if you, let me see. So like, you know, if you want to be polite and actually get food or drink, I'll just call it 2 gold for cost of being at the tavern.
Yeah, I can just take that. That's fine.
All right, so yeah, just basically just deduct 2 gold, everybody. Maybe one person could get away with not buying anything if you really don't want to. All right, so you're all at a tavern. You get some, you know, basic but decent food, just like, what?
A chicken quarter.
A what?
A chicken, like, quarter.
You know what? You get a chicken half, and you get a
That's not
biscuit,
extra.
and you get a mug of ale.
Did we just go to KFC, guys?
And you even get another apple if you want one. Yeah. You're at Fantasy KFC. All right, and you are all here.
So what do you want to talk about, Maxis?
So we're looking for dragon spirits. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one in Moira?
There is.
Apparently, my ring told me last night that, yeah, she's got the... Did it say what dragon it was? Because, I mean, it was black, I remember, but...
Yeah, I think that was just said in chat. It wasn't actually said in character.
Well, yeah, I was just say. I just don't think I would...
Your ring told you this.
Mm-hmm.
And how long have you been talking with your ring?
Okay, let's not be fucking a dick about it, mister. I talk to myself and wander off in random directions every 10 seconds.
Oh,
When do I talk to myself?
That's
You're
good.
at the bar right now. You are 15 feet away from us.
I never talk to myself.
Speaking of dicks,
Oh,
I just point at Kane. Just
Kane feigns ignorance and innocence. What? Like what are you pointing at me for? Anyway, I never talked to
I
myself. I
believe
don't know about you guys.
Maxis. Go ahead, ignore this one. I think I should start doing that too.
You were listening to me at some point?
Regardless, what do we know about the removal of the dragon spirit from somebody? Because she's like a princess, and that might be bad.
I know nothing.
I have no
I don't
idea
think
what
we
you're
did.
talking about.
Colleen might know. Colleen, do you know?
Do I know what?
Lol.
If it pertains to Moira, I know nothing.
We know nothing.
You know,
No,
maybe
never
you just
said I was-
ask her. Maybe she doesn't want a dragon spirit.
I mean, it's possible, I suppose.
I'm confused. Dragon spirits.
We know.
Oh shit. Oh, we're on this whole. We got some crazy shit going. Like
You're muted, bro. I can't hear.
dragon spirits on that list of things. Just roll with it. Just roll with it.
My bad. I'm doing math while we're trying to have this conversation. So we're trying to leave. Regardless, what I'm saying is, if that's one of the things that we have to do, and we have to get it from her, that's might possibly not go well. So I don't know if y'all have noticed, but Moira doesn't exactly seem like the river to my people sort.
What the hell is a river to
river?
my people?
Just it's never. You know what? Fine. Read a
For
book.
once, I'm the only one that doesn't get it.
Hey, you're reading romance novels.
This. All right. Don't judge.
Did the
me.
ring tell you that line?
Regardless, I don't. If something is giving her even an inkling of power, I have the slight suspicion that she is not going to be willing to part.
I don't think they really give power from the ones we've met before. They just kind of there.
Ring, take a spirit from Kane. Oh, wait, he doesn't have a spirit? Then you don't know.
Well, I mean, the only time we met one, and the only time it showed up was when they were literally about to die, and she just kind of turned into a dragon. And then there was
that was pretty powerful, Kane.
But she didn't do it like willingly. Like it was only like at the pit at like the moment right before death. So unless you're trying
Remember
to
how Haleo just sat there and watched it.
yeah, what a dick, you know.
I know,
But-
right?
So unless we're going to try and kill Moira, it shouldn't be an issue. And then Halil also apparently had one, but he never did any cool dragon stuff until like till he like fighting some crazy demon thing. And so unless one of us is a crazy demon thing, again, probably won't come up.
So I will interject into this that Maxis, you were told by Kalea. I just want to emphasize that there is like a ritual that you can enact that will bring the spirit out.
Right.
I mean, Kane doesn't know this, so his comment still stands.
Yeah.
Colleen seems like the kind of person that knows how to get spirits out of stuff. Or maybe
That's that's a solid point. Apparently there is some kind of a ritual. I didn't get details. I was really sleepy. I drank a lot of ale.
wait, ritual?
You know what, Kane? It's you can just step out of this side of the conversation if you want. No one will blame you.
When did we start talking to our jewelry? When did this become a thing?
There's so.
Do any of us know about Kane's bangle thing?
I was thinking that.
Because I didn't talk to it, I would just, while we were on watch, I just kind of like, from the outside, look like I was taking a nap.
This guy over here whispering secret messages to rocks all the time.
Those are actual magic items. So does Colleen.
Sure.
I
Has
mean,
anyone ever
almost-
seen proof of this?
But we're talking to a person at the other end.
guarantee that this ring shows up.
Is there a person at the other end of your magical room?
How would I know that?
I don't know, man. I know that there's a ritual.
I hit shit with an axe very hard. That's what I do.
No,
How do we know you didn't get hit in the head really hard?
This little group, but I really hope that this isn't how you normally decide things.
No, we just kind of do stuff usually. This is actually quite a bit of planning we're doing right now.
Yeah, it's going about as well as I expect it to be.
Plan has you in? What?
We don't usually plan stuff. We just kind of run at the demon at like full speed and challenge it to fights.
Right. Okay. Anyways, so how about we just go ask her if we can get that dragon spirit?
Sounds wonderful.
Seems reasonable.
I mean, we can do that. I can't.
She seemed,
Do that.
you know.
Probably should have had this conversation before we went in there and got the beer.
Yeah,
But
probably.
it was also like a flashback inside us literally walking there, so we didn't really have time. So
You didn't tell us about it.
I'm just saying in character, this is what Kane says to you. Out of character, I get it.
yeah. Regardless, well, what I'm saying is we can do that now, or we can pursue the other shit.
I mean, we're here.
Right here.
This is true, but we have to
It's
come
like-
back for our coats, so we're gonna be here in 2
we've
weeks.
I mean-
got to find all the dragon spirits. We've got to catch them all, so we might as well start with this one.
You should probably just do the spirits first and worry about coats later.
Also, part of the problem is we need to like know the person, and I don't know Moira.
In
like
fairness, that just makes it easier.
I mean,
it helps to
we
know.
know of her.
Because we're going to hurt her severely and turn her into a
Maybe
husk.
we could party
You know
with her a
emotion.
little bit.
Casey,
You
I'm gonna
think
look
that
at
will
the
help?
looking glass. What do I see?
You're looking in the looking glass.
Yeah.
You see a thread of red crystal leading out of the tavern.
Okay.
And besides that, you just see the tavern around you.
Yeah.
I mean, if we have to get to know her, we could just. She's down to party. We could just party a little bit, and then we know her a little bit more, and then we can try and take the.
Right,
Well-
so that's not... makes no sense. At all. Let's just go ask her.
Kane is not typing. What is happening here?
Yeah, that's fine. Let's just go. Have a talk about this BS.
Oh, I'm typing as you. Sorry.
I was about to say, it's like what? It's like Radiclus isn't typing either. Like, what's happening here? Let's just go ask about our dragon spirit, and we'll figure it out from
Yeah, you're the captain here, Kane. Get her done.
there. All right, let's go, guys.
So you're all going back to the castle and trying to
Finish
find
up your drinks. Let's
Moira
go.
again?
He can't be captain until he gets his jacket.
I'll lean over to Maxis.
And it's
No,
only,
don't do
only for
that.
jokes.
Don't.
I'm getting really like excited about this jacket, guys. Like, is it even called a captain?
All right. So
You said it was
I wasn't talking in character.
So, what's your approach
Oh.
with Moira? Like, who's taking the lead? What's the sales pitch?
I shall take the lead.
I defer to the
No.
group.
I'll
So, Moira,
All right, hold on a sec. I have to narrate here. So you head back to the castle. The guards at the gate are like, "Didn't you guys just leave?" You're like, "Yeah, we
Yeah.
just left."
We would like to have a word. Can we, before we actually get there, and be like, could we maybe try to get her in a room where she's not surrounded by family members and also
I mean-
guards?
Right,
Last
right.
time
Yeah.
guard
one guy.
raises like gives you the
I
hardcore
just-
Dwayne the Rock Johnson eyebrow raise.
Can I look at the guard and
just
say,
said
well,
that
how else
I
are we gonna
did
kidnap
this
her?
Before we got to the castle.
He did specify
On our
before we
way
got there.
over there, I said that.
The guard looks at you long and hard, Fowlin, and says, "You all wait here. I'll send inside." And he talks to someone else beside him, who runs in the castle, you all wait there for a few minutes and says, "All right, show him in." And the guard's like, "You told them the kidnapping comment?" "Yeah," says it's fine. He looks over at you all and shrugs and just gestures inside.
King gives him just the perfect angel smile.
So you are all taken, let me think. How long have you been gone?
How much does Moira know about our, like, overall, like, goals?
Yeah.
Okay.
You are actually taken, back to the same, little courtyard area where you were before. The person leaves you there. There does appear to be just Moira there, although, well, everybody give me perception checks.
Let's say I'm looking around for some sneaky sneaks. Do I see the sneaky sneaks? I don't see shit.
I did.
Okay. Anyone who rolls a 10 or higher, I mean, I guess this would include Mork too.
I'm working on it.
Yep. Anyone who rolled a 10 or higher notices that there are, like, guards discreetly stationed some distance away, but, like, if very visible shit went down or somebody, like, shouted or something like that, it would definitely be noticed. But yeah, so you all approach, and Moira sees you carrying the barrel of scotch, I presume, Maxis, and raises an eyebrow and says, "Come back to share."
Something like that, I suppose.
You might need it.
Okay.
I just say I will set it down and pour her a large drink.
Okay.
I mean,
she
it's
says,
kind of the only ones that I pour, but.
"Well, now I'm slightly concerned, but I'm not saying no." She takes it and, like, holds it up to the light, tilts it back and forth a little bit, shrugs and takes the tiniest of sips, then sets it down next to her and looks over at you and says, "So anyways, I'm surprised to see you back already. What's up?"
Okay. So.
You both begin talking at the same time.
Alright.
Can I just wrap
Fallon-
my entire hands
Fallon
around Kane?
wants to shush Kane and just looks at him. Says, "Hold on. What's her name? Mora. We found out. Do you know you have a dragon spirit? Were you aware?"
Say again?
You have a black dragon spirit inside of you. Did you know? It's alright. I mean, it's cool. We like dragons.
Fallon, give me persuasion with disadvantage.
Why? I'm just asking a question.
Because you said black.
She looks at you skeptically and says, "I don't understand at all what you're talking about."
That's understandable. I think the other people we've met with him didn't know either. So there's a. Did you tell us about the ritual, Maxis?
Yeah, I
Friend
said
Goliath?
there was some kind of ritual, but did she explain to me everything of going through it? She just said that, like, I had to talk to her to start it. Or
Yeah,
say that I wanted to start it.
yeah, you didn't wind up talking details.
Yeah.
I'll say, well, apparently we can do a little ceremonial ritual thing to help remove the spirit, which is something we're tasked with by Innis. Apparently, it's no effect to you, unless you're just dead set on maintaining a black dragon spirit in your body.
She looks down at the generous pour of whiskey, drains the better part of it, and sets it back down. And then looks back over at you, Fallon, and says, I feel like... She narrows her eyes. Based on the amount of weirdness that seems to surround you all, I could almost be inclined to believe what you're saying, but I feel like I'm not getting all the details.
What else do you want to know?
It's not that many more details, really.
Alright, let me pull up her character sheet real quick.
I'm just sitting in the middle of the room meditating, by the way.
Well, you're outside. Oh, did you stay inside?
I followed the group, I thought.
Okay, so you're just like sitting outside, maybe a short distance away, meditating.
I mean, I could be outside, like, just meditating right in front of the guard. Just creeping him out.
I mean, did you stay like, are you close to the group or are you far away from them?
I figured everybody went into the chamber.
Well, there's not a chamber. You're outside in the courtyard.
And she came out into the courtyard?
No, she was already there. You went out to her. Or the group did.
Oh, from outside into a different courtyard.
You went in the castle and then left the inside of the castle to go into an outdoor courtyard, which is where she was.
Yes, okay. I follow.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sitting there.
Okay. So she says, all right, well, for starters, how does somebody get a dragon spirit inside them, and where does it come from?
And I look around at the group to see if anybody has a knowing look on their face. Quickly.
Your guess is as good as ours.
And if I don't see one, I just say, not real sure.
Kane's gonna lie down on the grass and just watch the sky now.
Yeah, it's not been explained real well. Can I don't know, could I mentally jar the ring and ask if it could clarify some fucking points for me here real quick?
Yeah, sure. This can be at the speed of thought. What do you want clarified?
I guess one, is there a way for to prove that someone has a bit of the dragon soul or a dragon spirit? Sorry, I play a lot of Dark Souls. And then like what we need to do to start the ritual and perform it, all that BS.
Right. So she says, well, I'll start with the second question first. Essentially, it'll be a battle of wills between you and the spirit. But it's just a small effort. I'll draw it partway out. You'll have to struggle against it a bit, but if all goes well, we'll trap it inside the ring.
What kind of struggle?
Classic battle of wills. It's just who wants it more, really. Although it helps, once again, if the person you're extracting the spirit from wants you to succeed.
Right.
As you can imagine.
Yeah, I can tell her something.
Okay, we'll get to that in just a second. I'm going to finish responding.
Yeah, sorry, I just remembered.
Yep. No problem. Second of all, she says, in terms of proving it, right, I've got a thought. If you need to, give her the ring. You feel a slight sensation of it loosening. Fallon, go ahead.
I could say, well, just to help you understand, we've met two people, and one of them was a lady like yourself, and she actually turned into a giant green dragon when she was in grave danger, and afterwards she retained somewhat of a dragon appearance on some fingers and part of her face, I think.
She stops and thinks for a moment. Says, wait, what was her name?
Oh, what was Halael's
We didn't spend like weeks going to save her or anything, guys.
Halael's girlfriend.
Yeah, and
I
this
look back
wouldn't
at the group.
be nearly as long ago in game time, so I'll help you out because this would be legitimately hard to actually remember. Her name was Lyriana.
Lyriana.
Yes, here we go.
Says, right, the one who went with. Can you tell me more about the story? What happened to her? Specifically.
She was being
Qui-Gon
tortured by
Jinns.
Huegos. Some random person, we're not sure who, started a fire and burned spider webs, and it turned into a huge mess. And she was. Did they cut her fingers off? I can't remember.
Yeah.
They severed some of her fingers from her body, and messed up her face a bit, and then she suddenly transformed into a giant green dragon and flew off. And then when we caught back up to her, she was disfigured, as I said.
Quaggoths, so. Where were you when this happened?
Deep.
Some underground city or temple, right?
Right. Okay, Fallon, give me another persuasion check, this time with advantage.
Come on, big money.
Alright. She says, okay, I think I believe you. So, I've got the spirit of a black dragon in me, is what you're saying?
That's
I mean-
that's how we understand it.
If it would help, and I'll take off the ring, I can give you this, and hopefully it'll walk you through what's going on.
She looks at you slightly warily. Give me a persuasion check.
What? Come on.
Yeah, -2.
Yeah.
Alright. She says, is it okay if I ask a few more questions first?
I mean, yeah, sure.
And
Yeah,
Fallon, looking
on
at Max,
Max's.
says, "You've had that the whole time."
Well,
She,
I mean, kinda. I mean, technically it's Ernan's, but he left and gave it to me, and I didn't know what the fuck to do with it.
right, I remember that. How'd you get it from Ernan?
He handed it to me.
Oh. When he left, I guess?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I suppose that makes sense. What does the ring have to do with any of this?
It's what houses the dragon spirit, so that it can be collected.
Okay.
Or what Innes wanted, I'm not sure.
Can I see it?
Yeah? I toss
Okay.
the ring to her.
You hand it to her, she looks it over a bit. She finishes the rest of the scotch and casually pours herself a bit more. Okay, wait, I had it just a sec. And then she asks, okay, so when you have the dragon spirit then, what are you going to do with it?
Well, we've got to collect several more, and then we have to gather them with some other items in a special location I'm unwilling to tell you about to help stop all this demon nonsense.
Why don't I get to know about it?
I don't really know you that well.
She leans back offended and says, we have fought zombies together, sir.
I don't trust Kane, and I've...
That's better. Give me a persuasion check, Fallon.
Kane's just asleep on the ground, by the way.
Yep, duly noted. All right. She shakes her head and says, "Oh, what the hell?" And she slips the ring over her finger. Everybody give me perception, except Kane because he's asleep and Crook because he's meditating. So actually just Fallon, Colleen, Maxis. Yeah, so Fallon, Maxis, and Gmork, you you notice that there's a black stone on the inner setting of the ring that's begun to glow slightly as she puts it on. There are a few minutes where Moira sort of opens her mouth as if she's going to say something. Her eyes get a little bit wide. Finally, you see her nod, and she slips the ring off and hands it back to you, Maxis. She reaches over, grabs the little bit of scotch that's left, throws it back, sets it down, drains it like a boss, of course, sets the glass down on the barrel, and then says, "All right, I imagine we should go somewhere more private for this?"
It might, yeah.
Maybe a
Right.
open clearing.
She looks around. "I'd have to leave the castle. Come with me. I think I know a good place for it." She takes you back and leads you into a hallway, down a set of stairs. I imagine that Crook and Kane have been awakened at this point. And down into a cellar. The cellar has 2 rooms. There's a back one that appears to be storage for just various sundries that you need around a castle. The one that you're in, though, is fairly open. There are just like a few tools and stuff lying to the side of the room. And she looks at you, Maxis, and says, "Okay, I think this should be good enough then."
I mean, seems good, I guess. Never really done this before, so...
So Maxis, do we all participate in this, or is it just you?
I have never done this. How would I know? I wasn't even here for any of these interactions.
Just to your vision, Maxis, but Kalea sort of swirls in a cloud of black smoke and appears sort of standing among your group, sort of in the circle. And she says, "Just you. The others might want to keep a short distance."
All right, then. Yeah, you guys might want to clear out a little bit.
I'd do that.
Let's see how we fuck this up today, boys. Not you. You're fine. Don't worry about it.
So who's got the over-under on Maxis fucking it up?
All right, so Kalea says, "Just ask the girl to seat herself comfortably on the ground, and you sit across from her, and when you're all ready, we'll get going."
Okay, Moira, we need to take a seat, and we might as well get comfortable, because this is gonna take a second. And
Right.
I go ahead and sit on the ground, which probably looks hilarious, because I'm still gonna be like 2 foot taller than she is.
Something like that.
Alright.
So, yeah. So you sit down, and at this point, the rest of you can kind of see sort of the outline of this figure that appears and sort of seems to circle Maxis and Moira. You can't make out details, but it's like I described, except like extremely indistinct and sort of cloudy. Maxis and actually Moira both see clearly what happens. Kalea starts circling them and begins chanting words that are, and actually let me see. Yeah, Maxis, you don't recognize the language. Moira does kind of recognize it. But she begins chanting this series of words, and the air sort of begins to hum around you. The rest of you, you feel this odd tension in the air. What's up?
Would I know, like, even if I don't understand it, would I know what language it was? I'm assuming it's Draconic, but...
That's fair. Give me history.
Fallon speaks Draconic.
I don't think we hear it though.
Like, there we go. Found it.
Unfair. Unfair. Never
Okay.
get teased.
That's a cane roll. That's a cane roll right there.
That's the roll we wanted the 20 on. Sure.
Kind of. You definitely notice a lot of the cadence of Draconic from the times when you come into contact with it, but it seems to be mixed with something else that you distinctly do not recognize.
Okay.
Or actually, let me think. Yeah. That's accurate.
I was gonna say, I only know.
It's demonic, draconic.
All right, and then the rest of you see Moira begin to be lifted into the air. At first, her eyes go wide, and then they fall shut. Maxis, you actually see this hazy figure sort of stop behind her. Maxis, Kalea has actually lifted up Moira by her neck. She is supporting Moira with her other hand, so she's not like choking her, but is very much sort of holding her out like this. This torrent of words that she's uttering, she grows louder and louder, and finally a burst of riotous color comes forth. The rest of you can see the air begin to shimmer many colors. Finally, it settles down to just sort of a dark, smoky black. The Maxis, the ring that you're wearing, also begins to glow with that color. And then you see the dragon sort of, for a moment, its form sort of overlapping Moira's. And then it stretches out its head towards you and lets out a bellow. So at this point, we are going to have some contested checks. So let me pull this out.
Good luck, Maxis.
Yay.
5. I got 5 golden Maxis.
Okay.
What's the counter?
So this uses whatever your spellcasting modifier is. Maxis doesn't properly have one, but he has some abilities that act like that cue off of Constitution. So that is what I am going to use.
I think if he just goes to spells and puts con under there, it'll give him his like the modifier stuff.
I mean, it would just be 15. No,
that is true. However, let me see here. So, okay.
Oh, I'm thinking like spell attack. Never mind.
No, it'd be 14.
All right. Let me see here. I'm sorry, I need to remind myself of the rules that I made for this. Right, okay. So what I actually need you to do is make a... Alright, so you're gonna have a DC that's set by your constitution. So whatever 8 plus con plus proficiency is.
It's 14.
All right.
Wait, what's our proficiency modifier? No, it's 15. I was right.
It's 15?
First time.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me just record this real quick. Okay. So basically you're making saving throws against each other. So it's sort of your act of will, which is going to be a wisdom saving throw against the DC that's set by the whatever the other has. So I need you Oh, so first the dragon will make a save against you. So this is going to be against DC 15. Okay, so the dragon will fail its first save, and then I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
If I look at this happening through the looking glass, do I see anything different?
That's an interesting question. Yeah, I am going to say you actually see everything that I described to Maxis when you look through that way.
Y'all remember that time that
Jesus Christ.
Johan and Fallon rode on Matilda?
Yes.
Yep.
No one else wanted to, but me and Johan did.
All right. So Maxis, with just the sheer force of your will, you push back against the dragon, and you see what seems like uncertainty on its face, as you actually. It almost feels like you're reaching out with your arm, although you know physically you're not, and you actually begin to drag it out towards you. So the dragon will make another attempt against you. Okay, that's gonna end. I need you to make a wisdom save. All right. Let me double check the DC on this. So that's gonna be okay. You sort of remain deadlocked at that point, neither of you making any progress. Yeah, I mean, anyone who's looking through Cyphera can see all this. So dragon check number 3. All right, Maxis, make another wisdom save.
So
Okay.
we both fail.
Yeah, so you continue to wrench it further towards you, but it bellows as its form starts to emerge more fully, and you sort of lose the strength of your hold for just a moment before reasserting yourself.
You're lucky I couldn't just actually punch you in the face, dragon.
I feel like you're lucky he can't punch you in the face.
And I just realized I've been making the wrong throw, but I'm not going to hold that against you. So here's round number 3.
It's supposed
Round
to be
number 4.
plus 30.
Go ahead and make a save as well, Maxis.
Great.
Okay.
So Max.
The fear is beginning to grip you, but you reach down in yourself and make a final desperate pull. And at this point, you realize you actually have reached out with your physical arm, even though you're not actually holding anything. But then you sort of rip it back towards yourself, and you see the form of this massive black dragon that for a moment seems to engulf the entire room that you're in. Like, it's larger than the room itself, you're pretty sure, but somehow you're seeing the entire thing. And then you gather yourself for one moment more and somehow sort of siphon it into the ring itself. At this moment, there's a sort of a collapse of this black aura that's been surrounding you. Moira is lowered abruptly but gently onto the floor. Kalea disappears in a poof of black smoke. And
I will attempt to, I guess, catch Moira before she hits the fucking dirt.
Oh, she's not like being dead dropped. Like she gets lowered just rather suddenly and quickly. Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't particularly clear. That being said, couple things. First of all, for the next 9 minutes, your ring is going to glow with this intense, dark, like black light. And secondly, Moira is unconscious.
Okay. That seems not great.
Did it work?
I don't know, Kane. Here, let me slap you with this, and we'll see if you disintegrate into acid.
That seems like a bad test.
Can we check on Moira to see if she's still alright? Can I do that?
You can medicine check it.
Alright, great.
What? So, looking at the ring and looking at Moira with the looking glass, what do I see?
As you look at them now, you just see what your eyes see.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so you look over Moira. She's clearly breathing. You don't notice anything amiss, but you're not exactly sure. I mean, other than that, she's clearly unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well-
who wants to carry the unconscious princess up to, like, the castle? After we joked about kidnapping her earlier.
Yep, I'll do that.
I say we nominate the captain.
He can't.
You think I can carry her?
No, how encumbered are you? And how much does a princess weigh?
I mean, I think my carrying capacity is what, like 15 times the number?
Yeah, mine's like, my carrying capacity is like 400, actually.
Mine is 45.
Okay, that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and opine that you probably can't, just due to awkwardness, carry. Well, actually, could you do a barrel under one arm and Moira under the other? You could probably do that.
I probably could, but I didn't bring the barrel down with us. I left it in the courtyard.
Okay, that makes sense. All right.
You could just put her in the bag of holding. Ooh, what if you in the bag of holding?
Suffocate. All right. So yeah, so you carry Moira back upstairs. As you exit the door, I'm gonna go ahead and be nice to you and say that the hallway is empty except that Tad happens to be walking by. He looks at your group sort of quizzically and says, "Do I want to know what's going on?"
Nope.
Nope.
For the record, did anything untoward happen?
Completely.
Depends on your definition.
For once, probably not, because Aaron is not here.
He points to Crook. Why did he say yes then?
Because he's a dick.
That's
That's why we drew it on his forehead.
It's on my cheek and that fucker did it.
He nods and looks at you, Crook.
Is it still there?
Do you agree with that description?
That one is a fucker? Yes.
No, about you being a dick.
Old man knows what untoward means.
I would not call myself a dick, I'd call myself a dwarf.
So same
he
difference.
looks back and says, "Okay, I believe you then. How about this? I'll take Moira, I'll send somebody after you guys.
I mean, honestly, we were just gonna take Moira back to her room, so if you want to do that, here you go.
I think it's for the best. I'll send somebody to you and probably advise that, y'all get heading out."
Now, Crook doesn't know much about Tad.
Tad?
Tad.
But even just based off the brief moments of talking and interacting with, for Crook right now, this kind of strikes it as strange that he wants to take it off the hands and like there's no guards involved right now. So is there any way to check to just kind of be like?
Yeah, give me insight.
Okay.
It's his sister too, but I mean, I guess Game of Thrones.
I mean, I was thinking more of like disguise self as a spell that exists, and so is
we were demons.
Okay. You have a remarkable amount of trouble getting any kind of read off of Tad, actually. All that you can say for sure is that, well, he seems, I don't know, kind of weird. Like, just, like, you know that sense that, like, what? So, like, think of how, like, scientists get portrayed in, like, popular media quite a bit. They're just kind of esoteric. They're just a little bit out there. He's got a similar aura about him.
I'm gonna hold the looking glass and look at him.
Yeah, you just see him. It's kind of more like a mirror, actually. Like a
Having trouble
kinda like
seeing
a
him
mirror.
there, Kirk. Need your glass.
But yeah, he gives you a quizzical look and then finally says, "Look, you guys have been nothing but helping us out. I don't see any bodily harm to her. I'm willing to just let this one slide, okay?"
Exactly.
Look, we
Why
What
don't
are
we
you
hang
letting
around?
on? She wanted. She came willingly. We helped her. She's just needs
He
some
holds
rest.
up his hands and says, "I don't want to know anything. Just," he sort of cradles his sister and says, "I'm gonna get going. I don't even want to know." And he
Why
turns
don't
and
we
walks
hang
away.
around till she wakes up, though?
As he walks
I mean,
away,
We took a dragon spirit out of her.
Let me see.
is this like it? Is this what I'm like when I just say stuff?
He
I can't
calls
believe-
back and says, "Yeah, you really did have to drag those spirits away from her." And he disappears around the corner.
I
Wait,
just did some Constantine shit, and it is getting no respect.
yeah.
did he
Alright, let's go.
ignore
I
my
saw the
comment
whole
about
thing,
maybe
man.
stick
I
around?
saw the whole thing. How
Wait,
dope.
Casey,
What's up?
I was talking to him when I said maybe we should stick around until she wakes up. That was directed towards him since he suggested we leave.
Yeah, he just ignored you and left.
Yeah, I don't
That's
care. So let's leave.
A moment
gotta
later,
check.
an attendant comes
What
by
if we,
and
like-
says, "I was asked to show you from the castle. Is there anything that you need before that?"
yeah. Give us a minute, Jeeves. Access though. What if like that? There's like side effects or some shit. I feel like we should make sure that we grasp the side effects of that.
The
Before we
attendant
see-
says, "Side effects of what?"
Okay, I
Give
need
us a
you to
minute,
go
Jeeves.
ahead and shut your mouth right now. Just shut your mouth. Now,
I told him
I
to
don't-
go away.
so,
Give us a minute.
can you
I'm not listening.
please take us to the courtyard and then take us outside? That's all we need.
Right. Okay. He takes you to the courtyard. You collect your barrel. You know what? Let me think here. I'm gonna say, I probably made this thing a little bit too heavy. I'm gonna size it down a bit. It is currently. I just want to use round numbers here. So let's see. I'm gonna call that probably. It is currently 98 pounds. Or 99 pounds. Sorry. So of that, 40 is the barrel, and 59 is the liquid inside.
I wanna, if I have a chance as we're walking, I wanna go over to Fallon, because I still don't trust Kalina or Kane. And be like,
So, I
It's
don't.
funny. Fallon's the scoundrel.
Fallon didn't try to trick me.
I don't. First of all, hello. Second of all, I don't really know much about that man. Has he always been sort of weird?
I mean, I don't know much about Goliath, so.
No, not. He's fine. Well. Okay, point taken. No, I meant
what's his Tad? I
Tad.
keep
TAD.
Tad.
Tad! Moira's brother.
Honestly, he's a tad weird for my taste, but I've
God.
barely known him.
God's damn. That.
Okay, the porter finishes showing you to the door. You're shown out of the castle.
Okay, so where are we going after this, my peeps?
I vote we make sure we didn't fucking kill Moira, but we
Yeah, no, we're out of the castle. We're not going to be arrested because we're not in said castle, and it's not an issue anymore. We can continue on.
I feel like if there's some negative side effects, it's gonna become an issue, and you just won't see it coming.
If there are negative side effects, then they will regardless come, and
You know,
not
honestly,
being here is a benefit.
I expect we'll probably do another slip through time, temporal scan, and it'll all be different anyway.
By the way, Maxis, you do hear a voice inside your head. You're not insane. That says, if it makes you feel any better, honey, she's gonna be fine.
You cut out.
Yeah, I didn't hear
She
any
says,
of that.
the voice in your head says, if it makes you feel any better, honey, she's gonna be fine. It's a side effect of the thing, you know.
That literally cut out perfectly to me
Yeah.
not hear it again.
Okay, can you hear me when I am
Yeah.
talking?
Yeah, it just cut out right as you said the important part.
Okay, she says, she's gonna be fine. It's just a side effect of the thing, you know.
What? Is it? No, see, that's the problem, is I don't know what's exactly the side effect. Just the
You know.
unconscious is the side effect. Because Fowlin keeps talking about fucking husks over here, and it's starting to give me a goddamn...
That was never in character.
Is he talking out louder in his head, Casey?
Oh, this is 100% out loud.
Lean over to Fallon.
I see what you mean.
Max, are you okay? Are you sure that whiskey was good? Like,
Alright, so...
I lengthened my stride to go away from Kane.
You are all heading out into the bright, wide world. Where do you want to go?
I think Maxis is losing it, guys.
Can we just talk about how really impressive that was, Maxis?
Mm.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's, you just get used to it. It happens a lot around here.
I guess, but still. Fucking strange.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't see much happening. She just kind of floated. There were some colors, and then she sat back down. Not like I got to look through anything to see it.
Oh, well. Don't draw dicks on people. Maybe they'll be nice to you.
Is the dick still there, Casey?
Yeah.
I think it was... Well, I think that was a few mornings
Oh, it was 2 days ago. Yeah, you're
so
right.
it would be removed by this point, I would say.
It was probably there the whole day.
That
but
still doesn't change
I
the
got it
answer
off
at
by
all.
then.
Like,
I just wanted to see if I could picture this whole day, but with you with the dick in your face instead of.
I mean,
normal.
Given that nobody specifically said they made it easy for him to remove it, I imagine it was there for a good while.
Nice. But so do we want to try to go after the other dragon spirits? Where's Ileana?
Do you guys want?
Last we saw,
So I did. I will help you out with this if you guys want. I assembled a list of like open threads that you guys could potentially explore. Would you like me to list those?
Sure.
Sure. Also, guys, I actually have a question. Last we saw, Ileana was in the capital, where the demons came in from. Is she there when that happened?
Is that where she was?
That is the last place you knew where she was.
Well, if she was in trouble, I suspect she took care of herself. Like that one time.
Hopefully. What happens if one of these people die before we get to them? Is it like a waiting period? Or does the spirit just like jump into someone? Maxis, ask your ring.
Yeah, I'll
All
get
right.
right on that.
So I'm gonna go ahead and list out like potential open threads that you could pursue. So when you were in Westeros, you had an encounter with Kyril, and also with Lacidel. And Kyril happened upon the notion that there were some mysterious coordinates in the Cliffbreakers journal. Those coordinates are and actually let me,
Oh yeah, the lake that was super fucking deep for no reason or something.
yeah, so let me transition. Those coordinates would be at in this lake. It's Lake Soon. So they're somewhere there. So you could go try to investigate that. Although the journal does indicate that whatever the interesting spot was, it's presumably deep underwater. You could go after the dragon spirits. You've got leads on a couple of them, in that you know they are with Liriana and Halale. Liriana, you're not sure where she got to. She was in Siren. Halale, you're pretty sure is in the Feywild right now. You could go hunting after the Ashal. You know they're from like outside Van Ongrun. You know some things about them, but you know I don't know if you've got like a really solid lead on how to find them. You could go hunting after some locations where Fallon knows that vestiges of Alkadir are. So if I transition to my Gavala map, this is again here. He knows that 2 of them are somewhere around here, so on the northern part of this western continent. And he knows that 1 of them is down here in this southeast part called the Savage Lands. Actually, specifically in these peaks here. Let me see.
Where did I need to go personally?
You needed to go here, Telliuscar.
That's what I thought it was. That's
Um,
where they all are.
So, well, that's another thing. You've got your bargain with Imra, so you could go after that. Although only Fallon knows about that at the moment. You could. There are demons that are still infesting the city of Dredine. Now that you've and that is here. So now that you've cleared out the other ones, you could potentially try to help completely rid Einon Grun of the demons, although you haven't been specifically asked to do so. And finally, the Cyphera, the looking glass that Crook is holding, has this interesting red crystal thread that leads somewhere. And that's a mystery that you could explore as well. So discuss it among yourselves. I am interested, however, in establishing your next destination before we end, just so that I can plan.
I mean, personally, we're like pretty close to the lake, and at some point, we figured out a way off of Enangrun, correct?
Oh, off of Einon Grun is easy. You just leave. It's getting back to Einon Grun that's the problem, although Cyphera actually helps with that too. That's how you get back easily, is you follow the thread.
Okay. So,
See the lake, but our water walker is no longer with us.
what are you talking about? Who's a water walker?
Aaron had water walking, so we could breathe underwater, walk on water.
Oh, I can do that.
Oh, I can just not breathe. So water's not a problem.
I could command an octopus.
Ride in a whale.
or some other sort of sea creature, I presume.
I can't. Unfortunately, I can't give somebody else water walking unless I'm water.
Breathing.
The ability to breathe underwater.
I mean, I could get us a giant shark. You know, giant octopus.
So who here can't survive under the water for more than
Reef shark, even if you would like prefer a different type of shark. If we need a saddleable animal, I could summon a giant seahorse. Or, you know, if we're more amphibious, we got a crocodile.
You seem to have lots of different animals. It's your whim. Is that your thing?
We could just tie Crook to a rock and just put him down the hole. Also,
Could tie you to a rock.
Giant
You probably
frog.
weigh more.
I mean, yeah, no, I'm fine with this. We can do that.
Can you breathe underwater, Crook?
Just kind of look at Kane and just sort of wait for a while.
Regardless, I feel like the lake is pretty close. And once again I can breathe underwater, so we could just go nip over there and see what's up with that.
I will also say that I have a pressing matter outside of Onengrud, so if we were to try to get some, I know where some vestiges of Alkadir are, and I've got this other thing that is kind of
Those were
important
rather
to me.
important.
Well,
So once we get out there, I need to go somewhere, and it'd be nice if I had some help.
I feel like we're like in a hurry to find those vestiges because
we're
guys
in
are
a
after.
hurry. We're in a hurry to find all of that stuff, though.
Yeah, but I think weren't the vestiges being hunted as well by an evil group, like actively right now?
I mean, yeah, but we have like
Others
3 of
weren't.
them, so
So,
we
question for
literally
the
can't find all of them.
from me for the
Or-
DM.
Yeah.
4 of them.
Out of character, yes, I know these things, but in character, they're saying a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, am I just like, what the
What?
fuck is happening right now?
Yeah,
like, what
a
do I
little
know?
bit, because you never had the
Okay.
details explained to you. I'm willing to shortcut it if you want to just sort of pipe in and say, "Hey, can you tell me what's going on?" and them sort of tell you, you know.
Well, yeah, I didn't know if like they're saying vestiges, and I'm like, what's a vegetable? Like, what?
Yeah, sure. Let's jump back in character, but yeah, you're
Okay.
a little confused.
Yeah, it would be easier to just find the vestiges on their own and then grab them instead of trying to take them from the cult full of super magic-y guys.
You say that, but that fucking house of the Cliffbreaker tried to kill us several
What do we
times.
even get from there, though? Just the
We got the
creation stone?
amulet and the life stone. No, the body stone.
Excuse me. Question. What?
I mean,
To all of it? What?
Just don't worry about it. You'll pick it up as we go along, okay?
okay, so we, and by we, I mean not me, because I was not involved in a whole hell of a lot of this,
Hmm?
but these 3, along with our friend, what was it, Johan? Is that right?
Johan.
Johan,
Johan.
you will say his name correctly.
I will
Johan.
bitch slap you through that wall, Kane.
No, really, it's Johan.
Yes, I believe this is correct.
Do not
we
disgrace nobody's
we
name
were-
with your foul mispronunciations.
We were very busy. We were fighting hellhounds. We did not have time for introductions. We did, but that's not the point. Regardless, we have been tasked by Innis, who I'm assuming your god also wants you to help with, finding a bunch of different items. Some of those items are called the Vestiges of Alkadir. What are the actual stones called?
The creation stones.
The Stones of Creation and the Dragon Spirits. You just saw us collect a Dragon Spirit. We're not probably going to take out the Vestiges right now because they're dangerous. And we have one more stone to find. That being said, I would bet money that it's very possible that the 3rd stone is in the lake. Because what was the girl's name that lives
Kirel.
in the Kirel was very interested in the lake when we mentioned it.
By the way, do you want to give him... We don't need to do it in character, but do you want to give him like a genuinely thorough description that involves him like asking clarification questions and stuff like that?
That,
Like,
well, I
do you
mean,
want to
would
say
would
that
he-
happened?
Meh.
What he said there is fine. I'm fine with
Okay.
doing it in character. I just wanted to clarify it before I just like go.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Like, oh, duh, everybody knows about the vestiges.
Okay. Yeah. Sure thing. Okay. Jumping back to you then.
So, first, wow, it's a lot.
It is.
Second,
It's been a lot.
Karulo's not my god. I think it's the brother of Ennis, which is not your god. There's a lot of gods.
I'm an
And-
Alcadia man myself.
Gods now, huh? We tried with Grulo, we got
Third,
close with Ennis.
what?
He's back. Okay.
Third, well, I have absolutely no real idea about what's going on right now. The easiest, straightforward path seems to just go for the last creation stone.
Fuck you.
Colleen is mostly interested in the creations.
All right. So I think
I
we'll-
don't care about what Khalid's interested in.
I think we'll zoom out there with you guys sort of, you've probably leaned up against some random building and held a sort of an impromptu powwow to choose your way forward. And you have settled to make for Lake Soon and try to get to the bottom of that particular mystery. And that is where we will end tonight. On the note, level 11.
Yes!
Ha, where's my book? Give me the power.
Good night, stream.
Night stream.
Also, who wants to have a contest so you can hold their breath the longest?